see if anybody pops up real quick. If not, just start up the lesson off, man. All right. So first and foremost, I want to say call Halayim Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right. Now, hopefully you can hear me because, I got to speak a little low because I'm in the library right now. And I got about 2 hours in this study room. All right. I booked it for like 2 hours. All right. But anyway, let's just start off with Matthew 17 and Matthew 7 and 13. All right. And it reads, and this is the words of Yahweh Shai. This is Yahweh Shai speaking. All right. It's Matthew 7 and 13. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate. All right. The straight gate is a gate of the word straight means narrow. All right. Or a path of difficulty. All right. The Lord said, enter at the straight gate. All right. Because this walk, all right, this faith that we walk in, man, it's a hard path. It's not an easy path, man. The scriptures tell you that only one man could go in there at one time. That's how narrow it is. All right. The Lord said, enter into that straight gate, the narrow gate. All right. The hard way. All right. Because you got to go through hell before you can get all the goodly things. Right. You got to go through hell before you can get through heaven. Right. Second Ezra's the 7th chapter goes into that. And we're going to get into that. All right. So it says Matthew 7 and 13, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Yeah. All right. It's easy to go on a path of destruction. It's easy to say, forget all this. Forget the Most High. I'm going to do what I want to do. I ain't going to do the Lord's will. I'm going to do my will. Right. Easy and broad is the way to destruction, man. And that's where mostly everybody is going. All right. The way of destruction, only 2/3. All right. 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, are going to receive that salvation, is going to enter in at the straight gate. All right. Matthew 7 and 13, enter ye at the straight gate. All right. Again, the word straight. All right. Strait, straight, meaning a path of difficulty. Matter of fact, I got the definition right here. I wrote it down. All right. It says this is the definition of straight. All right. Strait, not straight as in going straight, but straight as in strait. All right. It says used in reference to a situation characterized by a specific degree of trouble or difficulty. All right. So this walk, this straight gate, this narrow path, all right, is a degree of trouble and difficulty. All right. It says of a place of limited spatial capacity. All right. Narrow or cramped. Because the scriptures tell you that, when you read 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, it tells you that the path is so narrow that only one man could go through at one time. All right. So when you read the definition, it says of a place of limited spatial capacity. All right. That's how limited the space is. The straight gate is, that narrow path is, that only one man could go in at one time. All right. One man has to go. Then you got to wait then you got to wait for him to be done going through the gate. Now it's your turn. Then after your turn, the next person could go. All right. Only one man could go in at one time. That's how narrow the gate is, man. This path to truth, man. That's why mostly everyone is going to be destroyed. There's 8.5 billion people on this earth, almost 9 billion people on this earth. Just about all those people are going to be destroyed. All right. And not receive the next world to come, which the next world to come is only for Israel anyway. the Negro, Latino, Native American man, the true Israelites. But 2/3 and the other people, they all going to be destroyed, man. 2/3 of the nation of Israel. That's a lot. 2/3 is a lot compared to 1/3. 2/3 is a way larger number compared to 1/3. So many Israelites are going to be destroyed. All right. All right. So it says of a place of limited spatial capacity, narrow or cramped. All right. It says straight as an adjective. This is always an adjective, right? Well, the first one was the adjective, and then this is the etymology of it, the adjective, all right, of a place of limited spatial capacity, narrow or cramped. All right. And you got straight as an adjective, strict, exacting, stern, tightly pulled, all right, of the way of life, severely restricted, austere. All right. Is not the Lord an austere man? So following Yahawashi, right, which is a narrow path, right? It's a serious thing. It's an austere thing, man. All right. You know, let me read that again. It says strict, exacting, stern, tightly pulled of the way of life, severe, severely restricted, severely restricted. All right, austere. All right. So this thing, this way of life, this path, this narrow path, all right, walking through it is a very austere thing, a very serious thing, a very harsh thing. Because when you read Second Ezra, the 7th chapter, it says on one side it's a fire and on another side is the water. Okay. So it says, enter ye, this is Matthew 7:13. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Ooh, all right, yeah, because most people, the 2/3, most of the nation of Israel, the 2/3, that's where they're going to enter in. All right, the way of destruction. All right, let's read that one more time. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate. That's the gate that we're supposed to enter in, the straight gate. We supposed to want to go through this hell and hardship in this truth, this ministry, this walk that we're in, following Yahawashi. Because we're crying now, but we're gonna laugh later. While everyone is laughing now, but they're gonna cry later. You see? All right. So Matthew 7:13, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in there at, yeah, the 2/3. All right. It says, because straight is the gate, meaning difficult is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Yeah, because the next world to come is only for a few. All right, which is the kingdom of heaven. The next age, the next world to come, which is the age of Israel, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Israel, starting with Yahawashi, because first and foremost is his kingdom, right? And then he's going to share it with the elect, all right, the 144,000, all right, his throne, his rulership with the 144, all right? Only few are going to find it, the 1/3, which is spoken about in Zechariah, the 13th chapter, all right? And also Isaiah, all right, I think it's the 20th chapter, the 10th chapter, when it says a remnant shall return, all right, that's talking about the 1/3, the elect, all right, that's talking about the tabernacle of David, all right, that's talking about the Israel of God, okay? So it says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. All right, that's the 2/3. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, and a few there be that find it. Yeah, that gate that leads into life. All right, that's the gate that leadeth to kingdom of heaven, which is the next world, the next age to come. And it says, a few there be that find. Yeah, because the next world to come is only for the elect, which is the few. All right, so let's prove that. All right, let's get Second Ezra, the 8th chapter. All right, the next world to come, which is the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven, the next age to come, the kingdom of heaven, that's only for a few, the elect, the 1/3, the 144,000, and the great multitude that follows behind the 144. All right. So it says, this is Second Ezra, the 8th chapter. All right, out of the Apocrypha, right? So it says, second Ezra, the 8th chapter, it says, starting at the first verse, it says, and he answered me saying, the Most High has made this world for many. Yeah, this current world. All right. This current world is made for many. You know, anybody could flourish in this current world, right? This world that we're living under Esau, right? We're not even flourish, but you know, live how they want to live, right? It says, and he answered me saying, the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for a few. Yeah, the world to come is only for a few. All right, a few pre-selected Israelites that were chosen and predestined to receive this world. All right, from the beginning, before the Lord even started this entire story, before he even created anything, man. Okay. It says, second Ezra, the 8th chapter, and he answered me saying, the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. The world to come is the kingdom of heaven, which is only for a few, the 144,000 and the great multitude that follows behind the 144,000, which they're all Israelites. All right. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. But you're also going to have the elect Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth under the other nations, looking like the other nations. So you're going to see Israelites getting beamed up into the chariots looking Chinese, right? Looking Japanese, looking like they come from Iceland or Germany, right? Or France. All right. Looking Mongolian, right? Looking like Esau, right? Looking like Elam, looking Indian, Pakistanian, you know? So it says, second Ezra 8:1. Again, it says, and he answered me saying, the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. All right. I will tell you a similitude, Ezra, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee that it giveth much mold whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world. There be many created, but few shall be saved. Woo. And that's scary, bro. That's very scary. The Lord said many are created, but only a few are going to be saved. That few is the 144,000 and the great multitude that follows behind the 144,000, which the 144,000 are all Israelites, 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes. 12 times 12 is 144, right? And then the great multitude that follows behind the 144,000 are also Israelites that are scattered under the other nations, looking like the other nations. Okay, that's why Ezra said, who are these people that are being crowned? Because they didn't just look like regular Israelites, man. All right, Israel's a speckled bird. All right, but we going in the kingdom of heaven, we gonna look like exactly who we're supposed to look like. We're gonna get our skin color back, right? We're gonna have a distinct look. All right, we're gonna look like Israelites. We're gonna look like Israelites, how Israelites are supposed to look like. Way distinct and far different from every other nation. When someone in the kingdom of heaven, when another nation sees us, they're gonna be like, yeah, that's an Israelite right there. You know, we gonna look like Hebrews, man. All right. So it says, and he answered me saying, the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. I will tell thee a similitude, Esdras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee that it giveth much mold whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world. There be many created, but few shall be saved. Yeah, all right. The ones that are going to be saved are the ones that entered at the straight gate, man. All right, they didn't enter into the broad way, the way of destruction. All right, they chose to go through that hell, that suffering for the name of Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, so they could receive the blessing and everything that comes with the glory, the blessings, the glory, everything that comes with the kingdom of heaven, man. Later. All right. We're supposed to suffer for Yahweh Shai. That's why this path is narrow and straight. All right. So when you read Second Ezra, the 7th chapter, all right, starting at the 41st verse, it says, "For as the husbandman soweth much seed upon the ground, and planteth many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season cometh not up, neither does all that is planted take root." Yeah, because a lot of people, they come into this truth, right? They get planted, but then they get plucked up, all right? Because it was never meant for them to be in this truth, all right, to endure unto the end, all right? And Yahushua also spoke that parable, all right? There be seeds that fall by the wayside, but the sun cometh up and it scorches them. You know, it says, "For as the husbandman soweth much seed upon the ground, and planteth many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season cometh not up, neither does all them that is planted take root. Even so is it of them that are sown in the world. They shall not all be saved." Ooh. All right. And that, again, that's why Yahweh Shai, this is why this goes hand in hand with Yahweh Shai said, when he said that a few there be that find it. Yeah, find the way of life through that narrow path, man. Let's read that again. Matthew 7:13. It says, and this is the words of Yahweh Shai too. All right. "Enter ye in at the straight gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." Yet there's only a few, which is the elect, that find it. Everyone else is blinded. All right, the elect, also known as the 1/3 of the nation of Israel. Only 1/3 of the nation of Israel is going to be saved. 1/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to be saved and beamed up into these chariots when the nuclear destruction comes. Okay, there's something that just let me read that again, so it might come back to me. All right, I'll read it one more time. Matthew 7:13. "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat." All right, "because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." Yeah, there's only going to be a few that's going to find the way, entering at the way of life, man. All right, that the narrow path that leadeth unto life. All right, because following Yahweh Shai, that's a stumbling block to the 2/3. Yahweh Shai is a stumbling block unto the 2/3. All right, Yahweh Shai was created. Let's get it. That's Luke. All right, he's going to be the rise and fall for many. All right, let's get that. All right, the 2/3 are going to stumble at the following of Yahweh Shai, right? So it says, I'll start at verse 25, but the point is in verse 34. All right, so this is Luke 2:25. It says, "And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon, and the same man was just and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel. And the Holy Spirit was upon him. And it was revealed unto him by the Holy Spirit that he should not see death before he had seen the Lord's anointed," talking about Yahweh Shai. All right. So he wasn't to die until he's seen the Lord with his own eyes, the Lord Yahweh Shai with his own eyes. Right? It says, "And it was revealed unto him by the Holy Spirit that he should not see death before he had seen the Lord's anointed. And he came by the Spirit into the temple. And when the parents brought in the child Yahweh Shai to do for him after the custom of the law, Then took he him up in his arms and blessed the Most High Yahweh and said, Lord Yahweh, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace according to thy word. For my eyes have seen thy salvation. Talking about Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is salvation, man. All right. His word means he saves or he delivers. All right. Yah meaning he, and Hawashai meaning savior or deliverer. He saves or he delivers. All right. It says, for my eyes have seen thy salvation, which thou hast prepared before the face of all people. What people? The Israelites. All right. A light to lighten the Gentiles, which are the dispersed Israelites that are scattered amongst the Gentiles, all right? A light to lighten the Gentiles and the glory of thy people, Israel, all right? And Joseph and his mother marveled at those things which were spoken of him. And Simeon blessed them and said unto Mary his mother, behold, this child is set for the fall and rise again of many in Israel, all right? So that following Yahushua is that narrow path. All right. And it says right here, all right, this child is set for the fall and rising again of many. Yeah, a lot of people want to fall at the in that narrow path, following Yahushua. All right, they're going to get offended, all right, of this word, of this truth. You know, because of what the true prophets and what the true servants of the Lord are teaching and preaching and what the scriptures say, man. So they're going to get offended. And they're going to fall back into the world, go back into Christianity, you know? It says, and Simeon blessed them and said unto Mary his mother, behold, this child is set for the fall and rising again of many in Israel. All right? He's set for the fall and rise of many in Israel. Okay? It says, and for a sign which shall be spoken against. All right. Yea, a sword shall pierce through thy own soul. Also, that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed. All right. So Yahweh Shai, you know, is that narrow path. All right. And a lot of people want to fall in that narrow path. All right. It's a very narrow, tight path. The straight gate. What did Yahweh Shai say? Enter in at the straight gate. And then we got the definition of straight. It says used in reference to a situation characterized by a specific degree of trouble or difficulty. All right, of a place of limited spatial capacity, narrow or cramped, straight, strict, exacting, stern, tightly pulled, of the way of life, severely stricted and austere. So this path is austere and harsh, very narrow. All right, like I said, on one side is a water, a deep water, and on one side is a fire, man. It's a hard path. All right. Yahweh Shai is set for the fall of many, and people want to fall on either the left side or the right side, which is that deep water or that fire. Right. So, you know, he also said this in Luke the 13th chapter. Right. Let's get that real quick. Luke 13 and 24. All right, let's get it real quick. Luke 13 and 24. Yahweh Shai said, strive to enter in at the straight gate. Yeah, we got to strive for mastery. All right. Strive to enter in at the straight gate. For many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able to. All right. Yeah, because it was predestined from the beginning for them to be the 2/3, that they shall not be able to find the way of life, this truth, this narrow path. All right. The 2/3 is blinded. All right. It says, Yahweh Shai said, all right, Luke 13 and 24. Strive to enter in at the straight gate. All right. For many, I say unto you will seek to enter in and shall not be able. All right. They're not going to be able to. All right. Because it was meant for them to be part of the elect, for them not to be of that number to strive to enter in at the straight gate, man. All right. What was I gonna pull? My mind's all over the place right now. Oh yeah, Romans 11:7. All right, I think it's 11:7 or 7:11. It's 11:7. All right, because again, this is what Yahushua said. Luke 13:24 says, "Strive to enter in at the straight gate, for many I say unto you will seek to enter in and shall not be able to." They shall not be able to, man. All right, because Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai didn't lead them to that straight path to the truth. They were blinded, man. You know, they're going to search for the truth, all right, and think they're taking the right route, but they're not. All right, they fell in some wrong doctrine, you know. So that's why when you read right here, it says Romans the 11th chapter, all right, the 7th verse. It says, "What then? Israel has not obtained that which he seeketh for." Yeah, because 2/3 of the nation of Israel, all right, they're looking for the truth, but they didn't find it, or they didn't receive the truth. All right, that's why the 2/3, all right, the ones that were predestined to be destroyed and not receive salvation. Okay, it says, "What then? Israel has not obtained that which he seeketh for." Because again, Yahushua said, "What? Strive, enter in at the straight gate. For many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able to." Yeah, they will seek to enter in. They will look for it, but they will not be able to enter into it. They didn't find it, man. All right, and that's why Romans is links up with Romans 11:7. It says, "What then? Israel has not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it." Yeah, the election has obtained this truth, the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. All right. They have found that narrow path and walked through it, and they're dealing with it, right? And they came out on top, right? It says, "What then? Israel has not obtained that which he seeketh for." Yeah, that's the 2/3, all right? "But the election have obtained it." Right? They found that narrow path, and the rest were blinded. All right, the rest were blinded. That rest is talking about the 2/3, the ones that couldn't find that narrow path to enter into it, you know? Romans 11:7, which then, what then? Here, Apostle Paul said, "What then? What then?" All right. "Israel has not obtained that which she seeketh for, but the election have obtained it." Yeah, the elect. The elect are the ones that were chosen, predestined to be saved and delivered from this nuclear destruction. They're known as the elect. All right. It comes from the word eklektos, which means chosen. All right. To be elected. All right, for salvation. All right, it says, "But the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded." Yeah, the rest were blinded. All right, and it's the Lord that blinded them. All right, because the Lord didn't want them. All right, they were created for destruction. They were created to be the 2/3. That's why the Lord got to be feared, bro. When you understand the power of the Lord, and he everything's written the way it's supposed to be written, and the Lord does what he wants, bro, that should put the greatest fear in your heart, bro, knowing that you're in the hand of the Lord. He could do whatever he wants with you. He could put you through whatever type of hell he wants you to go through, right? All right. So Romans 11:7, all right. Again, it says, "What then? Israel has not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded." That's right. And that goes in also, that goes into Sirach 39. Let's get that real quick. Let's get that real quick. Sirach 39:24. Let's grab that real quick. Yeah, all right. It says, "And his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked." Yeah, Yahweh Shai is that stumbling block. He's part of that narrow path. He is that narrow path. We just read in Luke, the second chapter, that Simeon said that Yahushua is set up for the rise and fall for many in Israel. The ones that are rising is the 1/3. The ones that are falling is the 2/3. So he was created as a stumbling block. Many stumble at Yahushua, the name of Yahushua, who he came and died for, you know? So it says, and his ways are plain unto the holy. So are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. All right. For the good are good things created from the beginning. So evil things for sinners. Yeah, and that evil thing is destruction, the broad way. All right, for the sinners, man. All right, the way of destruction, the way of the broad for the sinners, man. All right. And if you're of the elect, all right, you're gonna have that voice, you're gonna have the Holy Spirit, all right, talking to you, man. Like, yo, this is the way. All right. That's why I got this scripture right here. All right. Let's grab that. Let's get Isaiah, right? Isaiah 30, right? You're going to find that narrow path. All right. You're going to find that 100% truth, that narrow path. All right. When the Lord speaks to you, man. All right. So this is Isaiah 30 and 21. It says right here. Matter of fact, I'll start at verse 20. It says, and though the Lord Yahweh give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thy eyes shall see thy teachers. Yeah, because the true prophets, the true teachers, and the servants of the Lord out there on the highways, hedges openly where they could be seen by everyone. All right. The scriptures say that our eyes shall see our teachers, man. All right. They're not removed in a corner anymore. They're not hiding, you know, like how these Christian pastors are. All right. They hide in these churches on Sunday where they can't be seen. The only people that are able to see the pastor are the people that go to the church. But no, the true prophets and the servants of the Lord are out on the highways and hedges where they can be seen and easily found. You know, where many people are walking, where they can be seen, man. All right, it says, and though the Lord Yahweh give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not, it says, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thy eyes shall see thy teachers, and thy ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way. Yeah, that's the Spirit talking to you. All right. If a man if a man that is of the elect, all right, if he's predestined to be of the elect to receive this truth, all right, he gonna see the prophets, he gonna walk to them, all right, they gonna give him this word, and the Spirit gonna come up to him like, yeah, these the men right here, these are my prophets right here, hearken unto them. It says, and thy eyes shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. Yeah. When you listen to the prophets and you receive that word, because the scriptures say, faith cometh by hearing. So when you hear this word diligently, you know, in a sincere manner, you listen to the prophets speak and talk and teach, you're going to be like, yeah, these the brothers right here, these them. I found them. That's the Lord finding you. That's the Lord finding you. You know, it's all part of the Lord's story. You know, you in this world, this, you know, the life that you live. Yeah, you found them, but that's the Lord that brought you to him, because the Lord really found you. It was now time for the Lord to bring you into this truth when he wanted you to come into this truth. He put into your mind like, yo, these the men right here. These the men right here. Because when they speak and you receive this truth, that's that you receive it. It comes, it resonates with you. You know? It says, and though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thy eyes shall see thy teachers, and thy ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way. Walk ye in it. All right. When ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left. Yeah, you're gonna hear that's that spirit talking to you. Spirit of the Lord, like, yeah, these gotta be the men. These the men right here, bro. These the men. I'm gonna tell you something. When I first came into this truth, that's literally what I told myself. That's literally what I told myself when I came across the men of GMS, the prophets of Great Millstone, the Israelites of Great Millstone. All right, let me tell you a story real quick. Because when I first came into this truth, I came in by the way of Zabak. The very first Israelite teaching video I ever seen was a Zabak video, and I'll never forget it. It was titled Israelite Man. It was titled Israelite versus Jewish Man. All right, and in my head, I'm like, aren't Jewish people Israelites? Not knowing, not having this wisdom yet. I'm like, aren't Jewish people Israelites? So I clicked on the video, and I'm watching Zabak cut this man to death with the scriptures. In my head, I'm like, yo, the Bible say that? I'm like, yo, the Bible say that? Next thing you know, I'm watching constant, like retarded amount of videos of Zabak teaching, and then through his videos I came across AOC and HOI and IUIC, ISUPK, and all these Israelite camps. Then I came across GMS, right? And then so I was watching all these videos from all the camps. I was watching ISUPK, I was watching IUIC, AOC, HOI, GMS, all that, right? But as I keep watching and watching, I start to watch GMS videos a lot, because I used to think learning from other camps, I learned that Friday sundown, Saturday sundown is the Sabbath, and when other things, And then when I came across GMS here in Apostle Tahar speaks, and he was talking about the Friday, Sunday, and Saturday night, Sunday, not the Sabbath, that caught my attention. I'm like, what? It's not? You know what I'm saying? So I started listening to more. And then one day I remember, bro, I was listening to I forgot what camp it was, what video it was. But after a while, watching GMS for a long time, like, yeah, I was like, yeah, these the men. I was like, they got it. I was like, these the men right here. I promise you. Now I remember it like it was yesterday, bro. I was watching the video right on my phone in the living room, just watching the video on my phone. I'm like, yeah, these the men right here. They got it. These the men. These the prophets right here. All right, the men of Great Millstone. After listening to all the camps, all of them, and deeply listening to all the camps too, paying attention to what they all saying. When I came across GMS and started listening, I was like, yeah, these the brothers right here. They got it. They got it. That was the spirit talking to me. That was the spirit talking to me. And ever since then, I ain't looked back. I ain't never received no other doctrine, partake in any other doctrine, teach no other doctrine. That was the spirit talking to me, like I'm reading right here. All right. And when you receive the 100% truth, when you come into this truth, this the spirit telling you, yeah, these the brothers right here. All right. We are the Israelites. Esau, Edom is the devil. That is the white man. You're going to hear that word behind thee. It says, and though the Lord Yahweh give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. But thy eyes shall see thy teachers, and thy ear shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way. Walk ye in it when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left. So you're going to hear that spirit talk. You're going to hear the spirit of the Lord talking to you. Like, yeah, these the brothers right here. You're going to think to yourself, it's going to pop up in your mind. That's the Lord putting it in your mind. Like, yeah, he's making you think that way. Because now it's time. Now it's now the Lord wants you to come into this truth. All right. Um, let's get Isaiah 35 real quick. All right, talking about this narrow path. I want to get I want to get into second Ezra, the seventh chapter, because it goes into it so perfectly. All right, but for the sake of time, I don't want this to be too long. But if I end up, I'll probably end up going through it anyway. All right. So this is I'll start at verse 4. This is Isaiah 35 and 10. All right. No, Isaiah 35 and 4, but the point is in 10. All right. So it says, say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not, for behold, for your power, Yahweh will come with vengeance. All right. Even the Most High Yahweh with a recompense. He will come and save you. Yeah, the Lord is getting ready to come and save us from all the hand of the people that hate us. All right. Let's read that again. All right. Isaiah 35 and 4. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your power, Yahweh, will come with vengeance. Even the Most High Yahweh with a recompense. Yeah, because the Lord is getting ready to pay back Esau, Edom, and all these other nations for what they did to us. That's what the word of recompense means. Pay back. The Lord is going to avenge us. All right, because we can't do it on our own. The Lord is going to avenge us. He's going to do it for us. The Lord got our backs, man. The Lord ain't forget about us, man. The Lord ain't forget everything that Esau, Edom had did to us, man. All right. Esau, Edom, and all these other nations, they have struck the apple of the Lord's eye, which is the nation of Israel, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right. It says, say unto them that are of a fearful heart, be strong. Fear not. Behold, your power will come with vengeance. Even the Most High with a recompense. He will come and save you. Yeah, let's get that in Luke. All right, Luke, the first chapter. All right, Luke 1. All right, and 71. All right, but I'll start up a little bit. All right, verse 68, it says, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, the Most High of Israel, for he has visited and redeemed his people. All right, who's this right here? All right, Shalom, Mak, Shalom, Mak, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah, Shalom, Shalom. How you doing? All right. How you doing, Ak? All right. So it says right here, Luke 1 and 68, it says, blessed be the Lord God, Yahweh, the Most High of Israel. Yeah, he's the power and the Most High of who? Of Israel. Not of Edom, not of Elam or Ishmael, right? Not of Canaan or Cush. He's the Lord God, Yahweh, the Most High of Israel, right? For he has visited and redeemed his people. His people. Who are the Lord's people? The Israelites. All right. It says, and has raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Yeah, that's what the Lord is getting ready to do, to save us from the hand of our enemies and all that hate us. This is the gospel. This is the good news. That's what the word gospel means. It comes from the Greek word euangelion, which means good news. The good news is that the Lord is getting ready to redeem us and take us up out of this hellhole we're living in, and to give us the kingdom of heaven, which is rulership. Ruling this planet Earth with being kings and gods and rulers of this planet Earth, once again being immortal, literally being gods, immortal. That's the good news. That's the hope that we have. It gives us hope when we read things about this, when we read things like this, knowing that the Lord is coming to save us out of this hell that we're living in, knowing that this isn't going to be forever, man. All right. So that was the point. That was the precept for Isaiah, all right, 35 and 4, all right? But like I said, the point is actually in 10, all right? But let's read that one more time, all right? Isaiah 35 and 4. Say to them that are a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your power, Yahweh, will come with vengeance, with even the Most High, Yahweh, with a recompense. He will come and save you, all right? Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. All right. Then shall the lame man leap as in heart. All right, which is a deer. All right, and the tongue of the dumb sing. This is talking about the kingdom of heaven. All right, for in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. Woo. All right. In the habitation of dragons, where each lay shall be grass with reeds and rushes. All right. And in highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it. That's the point. The clean shall not pass over, because the narrow path is only for the elect, the 2/3. The 1/3, excuse me, the 1/3. The narrow path is only for the 1/3. The 2/3 are not going to find it. All right. The unclean is the 2/3. It says the unclean shall not pass over it, man. Okay, the unclean shall not pass over it. All right, that's the 2/3. All right. It says the unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those the wayfaring men. Though fools shall not err therein. Yeah, the 2/3. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall not be found there. All right. But the redeemed shall walk there. Yeah, the redeemed is talking about the 1/3. All right. Because the redeemed is the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, because only the elect is going to be saved this time around. All right. The Lord has only come back to redeem the elect. He's not coming back to save all of Israel like he did the first time when he saved us out of the land of Egypt, when he brought us through the Red Sea. At that time, all of Israel was saved. But this time, this second coming, only the 1/3, the elect. The ones that find that narrow path, the ones that find Yahweh Shai, all right? Only the 1/3 is going to be redeemed, all right? That's also in Isaiah, the 10th chapter, all right? It says, the unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men. Though fools shall not err therein, no lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk therein, the 1/3. All right. It says, and the ransomed of the Lord Yahweh shall return. Yeah, the ransom. All right. The word ransom means to be bought. All right. Were we not bought with a price? Yeah. Yahweh Shai dying on that cross, shedding his blood for the nation of Israel, first and foremost, starting with the elect. We was bought with a price. All right. Yahweh Shai shedding his blood. We were bought with that price. All right. And the ransomed, all right, of Yahweh, which is the elect, shall return. Yeah. Only the elect is going to return. The 2/3 are going to be destroyed. Right. But they're going to return in the kingdom of heaven. All right. And come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. All right. They shall obtain joy in gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. It says, let's read verse 10 again, because that was the point. It says, and the ransom of the Lord shall return. Yeah, the elect. All right. Because only a few is going to find that narrow path. The next world to come is only for a select few. All right. The next world to come is only for a select few. All right, we read that earlier in 2nd Ezra, the 8th chapter. All right, from the 1st verse to the 3rd verse. Right? It says, and the ransom of Yahweh shall return. The ransom is talking about the elect. All right, the elect shall return. Not everyone. All right, let's prove that. All right. Isaiah 10 and 20, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, all right, which is Esau, all right, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel. The word remnant means a small portion, all right, a small portion, a very small part. All right, it says the remnant of Israel shall return, right? It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. Yeah, which is talking about Esau. Esau smote us, man. And also these other nations, all right? But shall stay upon Yahweh, the Most High, Yahweh, all right, the Most High, the Holy One of Israel in truth. The remnant, which is a small portion, right? The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob unto the mighty God Yahweh. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yeah, whereas the sand of the sea, there's almost 9 billion people on this earth. Almost most of that, half of that got to be Israel. All right, because you're going to have Israel scattered amongst all these other nations, looking like the other nations. All right, so Israel is the sand of the sea. Israel is so many Israelites on this earth right now that they can't even be counted. You can't count every speckle of sand that's on the ocean. That's trillions of speckles of sand, bro. Right? So the Lord is saying, even though Israel is as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant, a small portion, a remnant shall return. Only the elect is going to return back to Yahweh Shai. Only the elect is going to find that narrow path and return back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, known as the 1/3. All right, let's read that one more time. It says, it's Isaiah 10:20 says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob unto the mighty God Yahweh. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. All right. And that's also in Zechariah the 13th chapter. Let's get that. All right. Zechariah 13. Let's get that real quick. All right, this is Zechariah 13:8. That remnant is also known as the elect, also known as the tabernacle of David or the house of David or the Israel of God. All right. So this is Zechariah 13:8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. Yeah, 2 parts of Israel, 2/3 of Israel shall be cut off and die. 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all not going to make it. Y'all going to be cut off and die. All right. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, save the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd shall be left therein. So 2 parts, 2/3 are going to be cut off and die, but the 1/3 shall be left therein. They're going to be left to be saved and delivered. All right. It says, and I will bring the 3rd part through the fire. That's that narrow path we've been talking about this whole time. That fire, that narrow path is that fire. You got to go through the fire. You got to go through hell before you can get to heaven. You got to walk into the narrow before you can get to the broad. You got to go through that fire, that hell, man. All right, because while we're in this truth, going into this hell, that hell is cleansing us. The Lord is purifying us, just like when you heat up gold, right? Because what you're doing is what? You're purifying it. You're getting all the impurities out when you melt down gold or other metals. What you're doing is purifying it, and the Lord is purifying us. All right, in this ministry, going through that narrow path, that walk, that hell that we go through in this walk, man. All right, the Lord is preparing us. All right, it says, and I will bring the 3rd part, which is the 1/3. All right, and I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined. Woo! All right, and will try them as gold is tried. You see? All right, they shall call on my name. All right, they shall call on my name. All right. You got bugged out IUIC talking about we don't know the name of the Lord, talking about Most High in Christ blessed. But the scriptures say they shall call upon my name. We got the name of the Lord, Yahweh, and his son's name, Yahweh Shai. When you read John the 17th chapter, all right, Yahweh, what did Yahweh Shai say? He said, I have manifested thy name unto them. Meaning he had let them know the elect, the name, the disciples and the apostles, the name of the Lord. And then when you read Sirach, the 10th chapter, I think it's the 10th chapter. Let me get it real quick. Or maybe it's the 17th chapter. Yeah, all right. This is the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 17 and 10. It says, and the elect shall praise his holy name. We're reading about the elect right now, the 1/3, the ones that were predestined to be saved, the 1/3. When the Lord said the third shall be left therein, that's the elect, the ones that were predestined to be saved. All right. It says, and the elect shall praise his holy name. So the elect, all right, the ones that are going to be saved know the name of the Lord because they have called. They're good. That's why they're going to be saved because they have called upon the name of the Lord. When you read Romans, let's get that. When you read Romans, let's get it. It says Romans 10 and 13. It says, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. So if you want to be saved, you got to call upon the name of the Lord. All right. So it says right here in Ecclesiasticus 17 and 10, it says, and the elect shall praise his holy name. The elect is the ones that's going to be saved. That's why they're the elect, because they have called upon the name of the Lord. All right. Again, Romans 10 and 17. 13, it says, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. And that whosoever is talking about Israel. All right. Because that same verse is in Joel, the 2nd chapter. Let's get it. All right. And it goes into it. All right. Ye men of Israel. All right. All right. Joel 2. And is it Joel 2? And give me a second. Give me a second. I know it's in Joel. But this is a good verse too. I'll read it anyway. All right. This is Joel 2 and 32. It says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. All right. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance. All right. So that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord, it says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion in Jerusalem shall be deliverance. In Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance. All right, which is Israel. All right. As the Lord Yahweh said, and in the remnant, it goes the remnant again. All right. And in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. Only the remnant is going to return. Only the Lord is going to call the remnant to come back and return to him, to be saved and delivered. You see how it all, you know what I'm saying? It all goes, you know what I'm saying? How it all connects, man. All right. So what was I reading? Oh, let's go back to Zechariah because I ain't finished it off, but I was almost finished with that. All right, I started off again. Zechariah 13 and 8, it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, save the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 1/3 shall be left therein. All right, I got a preset real quick. Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 4. Let's see. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna read that in a second, all right? But let me finish it off. It says, Zechariah 13:8, it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, save the Lord Yahweh, two parts therein shall be cut off and die, which is the 2/3, all right? And the third shall be left therein, which is the 1/3. It says, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. All right. I will say it is my people, and they shall say the Lord Yahweh is my God. Woo. All right. So I got Wisdom of Solomon here. All right. 3 and 4 says, for though they be punished in the sight of many, because going through that narrow path, all right, that straight gate, all right, we go through hell. We get punished by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. What you got right here, brother? All right. I'll read it real quick. It says, this is Acts 2 and 22. It says, ye men of Israel, hear these words. All right. Yahweh Shai of Nazareth, a man approved of the Most High among you by miracles and wonders and signs. All right. Which the Most High did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves know. Yeah, that's right. That's right, brother. All right. All right. Oh, let me read up a little bit. You have one up. It says, this is Acts 2 and 21. It says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Yeah, that's right. And that's talking about Yahweh. Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's right. All right. It says, ye men of Israel. Yeah, that's right. Good looking, yeah. I think that might have been the one I was looking for. All right. It says, ye men of Israel, hear these words. Yeah. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. All right. Good looking, the water. All right. Yeah, I think that's the one I was looking for. All right. It says, who shall ever call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Ye men of Israel. Yeah, ye men of Israel, man. It's not everyone. All right. Good looking, the water. All right. So it says, Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 4 says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. Yeah, our hope, because that's what we're going to receive. Immortality. Did not Apostle Paul said that the mortal should put on immortal? All right. Let's get it. All right. This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. It says, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall be changed. All right. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye at the last trump, we said in a moment. This is Apostle Paul speaking. All right. And Apostle Paul learned from Yahweh Shai directly. So Apostle Paul was very cheap and you couldn't tell him nothing. He knew exactly what he was talking about. All right. It says in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, we're going to all be changed. Just like that. In the blink of an eye, like this. We're going to receive them new bodies. That's how fast we're going to become immortal, like this. It says, behold, I show you a mystery. Yeah, this is a mystery to everyone else, man. Because not everybody gonna believe this. They think we bugged out because we believe this, man. But they the ones that's bugged out. We gonna get the laugh. Like we gonna say, I told you so. We gonna say, I told you so. Right? It says, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. All right, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. All right, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. He said, this immortal must put on immortality. All right. We gonna be immortal, man, in the kingdom of heaven. All right. Come on, man. All right. That's why it says right here, for they shall be punished in the sight of men, yet their hope is full of immortality. That's our hope, man. We're hoping for this. That's why we're also known as the hopeful elect, like the apostles of Great Millstone teach. All right, or Apostle Gabar like to say the hope. We hope to be saved and of the elect. We hoping that we hope that we gonna get beamed up into the chair. This is why we do this work. We hope We hoping that we gonna get beamed up and saved, all right, by the chariots to be delivered from the nuclear destruction. We hoping, bro, because it's coming. It's coming. All right. It says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. Yeah, going through this hell, this narrow path. All right. It's we gonna be greatly rewarded coming out the other side. You gotta go through the narrow before you enter into the broad. See, now I gotta go into 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter. I said I wasn't gonna go into it, for the sake of time. But now I gotta go into it because it goes into that nicely, man. All right. But again, all right, Wisdom of Solomon 3. I think I said 2nd Ezra before by accident. All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 4. It says, for though they be punished in the sight of men. Yeah, because we're looked at like regular men in this world, even though we're the prophets of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, and one of those men. All right, we're still looked at like regular men. These niggas right here, right? They look at us like, because we going through hell, we got all these problems, right? We're punished in the sight of men. It says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. That's what we hoping for, right? It says, and having been a little chastised, he'll be chastised, man. All right. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. We're going to come out top. We're going to receive that victory. All right. We got to be chastised to receive that reward. All right. It says, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. Woo. It says, as gold in the furnace has he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. All right. It says, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. For as gold in the furnace has he tried them. Woo-hoo, all right. And received them as a burnt offering. That's mean right there. That's a cold scripture. All right. It says, and in the time of their salvation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Come on, dog. All right. It says, and in the time of their visitation, we going to come out on top. That immortality. We going to say, I told you so. All right. It says, in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Woo. That's one of my favorite scriptures, bro. All right. We're going to run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Just like how sparks, they run and cross the ground. Like, that's how we going to be. We're going to run like sparks among the stubble. Like we going to fly and move like how sparks move, man. Come on, man. It says, they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people. Yeah, we're going to rule over these nations, man. All right. That's Revelation 2. All right. And 25. All right. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord Yahweh shall reign forever. Yeah, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Because first and foremost is Yahweh Shai's kingdom. The kingdom of heaven is Yahweh Shai's kingdom. Yahweh Shai's kingdom is the kingdom of heaven. All right. And then he's going to share his rulership, his throne with us. All right. It's really his kingdom, his rulership, his world. It's just he's going to share it with us, and we're going to rule with him. All right. That's love, bro. That's love, bro. The Lord loves us so much, he's going to share his only throne with us, his rulership, his rulership with us. We're going to be shared heirs with Yahweh Shai. The throne that Yahweh is going to give Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai going to share it with us. Think about it. That's deep, man. Imagine loving, that's, you know, because just like when you love, you know, you say you have a child, you know, for brothers that have children and daughters and sons or whatever, you know, you love that, you love your son, your daughter with all your heart, that you want to give them everything, man. That's Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shai want to share his throne with us. Did not Yahweh Shai, it is the Lord's good pleasure to give you the kingdom? Whatever. Let's get into what was second Ezra. Let's get it, man. All right, going into that narrow path. This is one of my favorite chapters too, man. This is beautiful. All right, and I'm gonna end it right here too. All right, I didn't even think I was gonna go this, you know. All right, but all right, it says second Ezra 7. I start at verse 1, but it starts to get into it around the fourth verse. All right, second Ezra 7:1. It says, and when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights before. Nights afore. And he said unto me, up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, speak on, my God. My God, all right, Yahweh, all right. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow like a river. Yeah, the entrance to the kingdom of heaven is narrow like a river, man. Did not Yahweh Shai? We read it earlier. All right, Luke 13. All right, enter ye in Luke 7:13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, and there be few there that find it. All right, it says, let's read that again. It says, and I said, speak on, my God, Yahweh. All right, then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow, like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Let's read this. It says, who then could go into the sea? Because that represents the kingdom. The sea is the kingdom of heaven. But who then could go into the sea? Right? It says, who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it, the kingdom of heaven? All right. It says, if he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? So you got to go through hell, this straight gate, this narrow gate, before you can enter into the broad gate, the kingdom of heaven. You got to go through hell to get through heaven, man. This path of truth that we're on, this is a difficult and hellish path, man. All right, but we go through this hard so we can enter into the broad, the kingdom. All right, but it says, but put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is builded and is set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. That's the kingdom of heaven. That represents the kingdom of heaven. Let's read that again. It says, there is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things, which is the kingdom. All right. It says the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall. All right. Yeah. All right. This path of path of truth that we on is set in a dangerous place. In a dangerous place to fall. It's a hard path to go because many people, they walk this narrow path and they fall out. They go back into the world, go back into Christianity or Islam or this path of truth, it becomes too hard for them. They can't take the scoffers and scorners no more. As they're preaching on the highway and hedges, they don't want to deal with the scoffers and scorners no more. You know? Or they're tired of these demons trying to fuck with them. Because that's part of this truth. These demons, they try to fuck, they get in your mind, they try to put thoughts in your mind. But when you leave this truth, you even become, the demons hop on you more. What do the scriptures say? It's better to not know the way of truth than to know it, and then to fall back out, roughly paraphrasing, right? Anyway, verse 6, it says, there is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things, which represents the kingdom of heaven, all right? The entrance thereof is narrow. Yeah, the entrance to the kingdom of heaven is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water, all right? So this path of truth that we in, this ministry, all right, it's like a narrow path. It's set in a dangerous place, all right? It says on the right hand, it was a fire, and on the left, a deep water. And many people, they walk this path, and they fall into those deep waters and into that fire. They fall out the truth because it's too hard for them. They don't want to deal with the madness that's in this truth anymore, all right? They get offended by the word, you know? They fall out the truth because the demons take them and pull them out the truth. The demons get in their mind talking about this ain't the truth, man. I'm in a cult, you know. A lot of people that fall out in the truth like to say, oh, I was in a cult, like, you know what I'm saying? All right, nigga. All right. So it says again, I'll read that one more time from verse 6. It says, there is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things, which is the kingdom, all right? The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, all right? Even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be but one man go there at once. So the path, the truth, is the way of life, all right? If you want to enter into the kingdom of heaven, it's so tight and narrow that only one man could go in at one time. That's how narrow and hard this path of the straight gate is, right? All right? It says, and one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, which the elect is going to receive the kingdom of heaven, all right? That represents the elect. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? So we have to go through that narrow path. We have to go through this hell in this ministry, in this truth. We have to suffer for the name of Yahawashi sake. For Yahawashi's sake, man. For his name's sake. All right. It says, if this city now were given unto a Yahawashi suffered, that means though his followers have to suffer too. All right. We got to put on the sufferings of Yahawashi. All right. Brothers are going to go through all types of hell, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, right? The Lord got a custom-made hell for everyone in this truth. The hell that you going through is not the hell that another brother is going through, because the hell that you going through, all right, only you are able to deal with it. The other brother might not be able to deal with that hell that you going through, and the hell that the other brother is going through, you might not be able to go through it, because the Lord he puts on you what you can deal with, man. Because some brothers are stronger mentally, physically, so the Lord deals with certain brothers differently, man. The Lord got a custom-made hell for everybody, man. Brothers go through all types of hell, man. In different. The Lord, you gotta remember, the Lord is far out, bro. The Lord could put you in any type of hell he wants you to. Hell so weird A hell so weird that you will say to yourself, ain't no way nobody else going through this. You're gonna say to yourself, ain't no way anyone else is going through this, man. That's how custom made your hell is, bro. That you gonna say to yourself, it's freaking it's ain't no way somebody else going through what I'm going through. Cause I be feeling like that. All right. It says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? So we gotta suffer, bro. To enter in the kingdom of heaven, we gotta suffer. We have to go through the narrow path. Ain't no other way around it. Did not Yahweh Shai said, damn, I forgot how it goes. If he enter not into the door and cometh up some other way, you know, roughly paraphrasing that verse. If he enter not into the door and cometh up some other way, you know, there's only one way. There's only one way into the kingdom, man, and that's through Yahweh Shai. All right, that's through the following Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, which following Yahweh Shai, we going suffer. All right. It says, and I said, it is so, Lord Yahweh. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. Woo-hoo. Because for their sakes I made the world. All right. The Lord literally made the world for our sakes. He made the world for us to rule on. Starting with Yahweh Shai. Because Yahweh Shai himself made this planet Earth. He made this earth for him. It was this earth was created by Yahweh Shai for Yahweh Shai. He created this earth for himself to rule on. All right. And that's kind of going into another topic, but you know, it was created for us. Yahweh Shai created it because Yahweh Shai is him. He himself is part of the elect, right? So Yahweh Shai created it for himself and the rest of the elect to rule on. Because first and foremost, again, this is Yahweh Shai's earth, his throne, his kingdom that is getting ready to come, and he's just going to share it with us. All right? He's going to share his rulership with us. We're going to be shared heirs with Yahweh Shai. All right? So it says, because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was the decree now is done. All right? That now is done. All right? Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrows and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. All right. It says, for the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Come on, dog. So we have to go through this narrow. It's no other choice. We have to, bro. It's no other choice. Literally, you can't even think about trying to go in another way. There's no other way. There's no other way but through Yahweh Shai, which Yahweh Shai is that narrow path. Because again, Luke 2 and with the Simeon saying Luke 2, this child is set for the rise and fall of many in Israel. He's that narrow path, Yahweh Shai. You can't even get to the Father unless you go through Yahweh Shai. Right? It says, if then they that live labor not to enter these straight. Yeah, if you labor not to enter into the straight gate, all right, the Lord, Yahweh Shai said, strive to enter into the straight gate. You got to strive to enter into this narrow, difficult path, this hell. Is the only way you get to heaven, right? If then they that live labor, not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. So there's only one way into the kingdom, through Yahweh Shai, that narrow path, man. That's it, bro. All right. So Lord willing, what you got, brother? Let me see real quick. All right. You got Acts 14. All right. You got Acts. I'll read it real quick. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. Yeah. And that we must, and that, oh, excuse me, hold on. It says, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom. Woo! That's right, brother. That's a good script right there. All right. Through much tribulation enter into the kingdom. Right? It says, this is 2 Timothy 2 and 3. It says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. That's right. So through much tribulation, we shall enter into the kingdom. All right. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai. And that's a scripture I haven't read in a hot minute, bro. That's a good precept, bro. Right? That's a good precept, man. Gotta wipe the dust off that one. All right. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. We gotta endure that hardness, man. All right. We gotta put on the sufferings of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, man. All right. So I'll leave it at that, man. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I wasn't even trying to go with almost an hour and a half. I was trying to do like some 30-minute type joint, but yo, that's the spirit. All right. And I got to get out of here too. All right. But, call Haloyam, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right. That's right. Shalom, shalom. All right. Shalom. All right. So with that being said, on to the next one, shalom.